have always known that success begins in the mind. The starting point of all achievement is desire. I have cultivated desire in my heart. I have burned it with persistence, and I have held it as the guiding light of my life. I have understood that whatever the mind of man can conceive and believe it can achieve, I have conceived visions of accomplishment, and I have believed them into existence. I have acted upon them without hesitation or doubt. I discovered early that faith is the foundation of all great achievement. Faith is the visualization and belief in the attainment of desire. I have reinforced my faith daily. I have repeated affirmations of success. I have visualized my goals as already achieved. I have impressed upon my subconscious mind the certainty of my triumph, and I have observed the unfolding of opportunity and providence in my favor. I have realized that autosuggestion is the method by which thought is transferred to the subconscious mind. The subconscious mind works day and night to translate my desires into reality. I have trained my subconscious through repetition and belief. I have impressed upon it images of success and determination. I have eliminated fear, doubt, and negativity, and I have allowed faith and purpose to dominate my inner world. I understood that desire backed by persistence is the engine of achievement. I have acted daily. I have refused to let temporary obstacles or failures deter me. I have persisted. When others quit, I have refined my methods, and I have reinforced my determination. I have discovered that persistence is the sustained effort necessary to induce faith and convert desire into reality. I observe that the mastermind principle is the coordination of knowledge and effort between two or more people working toward a definite purpose. I have sought companions of integrity, vision, and talent. I have shared ideas, and I have contributed knowledge. I have cultivated harmony and trust. I have observed that the combined power of a cooperative alliance exceeds the sum of individual efforts. I have relied on the energy and wisdom of others to propel my own advancement. I have realized that imagination is the workshop of the mind. Ideas are the beginning points of all fortunes. I have used imagination to organize old concepts into new combinations. I have applied creative imagination to generate solutions to complex problems. I have visualized opportunities where others saw obstacles. I have conceived innovative plans, and I have acted upon them with energy and focus. I understood that organized planning is the crystallization of desire into action. A plan is only effective when acted upon. I have written plans. I have tested them. I have refined them. I have acted persistently. And I have observed that failure is only temporary if it teaches a lesson and inspires renewed effort. I have never abandoned purpose. I have only adjusted the method when necessary. I discovered that accurate thinking is the ability to separate facts from opinions and to act decisively upon truth. I have trained myself to observe carefully, to analyze critically, and to think independently. I have questioned assumptions. I have sought knowledge. I have acted on facts, and I have avoided the trap of reacting to unverified opinions. I have understood that the quality of thinking determines the quality of results. I realize that self-discipline is essential for sustained achievement. Without self-discipline, desire is weak, faith is unstable, and persistence falters. I have practiced self-control. I have resisted temptation. I have maintained focus. I have acted consistently. I have reinforced discipline until it became a habit, and I have observed the power it brings in all areas of life. I discovered that enthusiasm is a catalyst for action. It inspires cooperation, attracts opportunity, and multiplies effort. I have cultivated enthusiasm in every thought, word, and deed. I have acted with energy and passion. I have motivated others. I have observed that enthusiasm spreads and amplifies the results of action. I have used it as a tool to accelerate success. I understood that failure is only temporary when it is recognized as a lesson. The most successful men I have studied have failed repeatedly. They analyzed failure. They learned from it. They adjusted and persisted. I have done the same. I have embraced temporary defeat. I have extracted the lesson. I have refined my approach, and I have acted with renewed determination. I discovered that fear is the greatest obstacle to achievement. Fear of criticism, poverty, failure, ill health, old age, and loss paralyzes thought and action. I have confronted fear. I have acted in spite of it. I have cultivated courage. I have persisted. I have reinforced faith. And I have understood that no man can achieve success who allows fear to dominate his mind. I observed that a positive mental attitude attracts opportunity and repels misfortune. I have cultivated optimism. I have focused on faith, desire, and constructive action. I have avoided negativity. I have acted decisively. I have persisted. And I have seen the universe respond to mental attitude and belief. I have discovered that opportunity is drawn to thought and action backed by faith. I realize that service to others multiplies influence and rewards. The man who renders more than he expects receives more than he imagines. I have acted with integrity. I have created value. I have sought to improve the lives of others. I have observed that when I elevate others, I elevate myself. And I have understood that service is the gateway to abundance. I discovered that attachment to outcomes produces suffering. The river flows around obstacles. It adapts, it moves forward. I have focused on action, not outcome. I have acted persistently. I have detached from results. I have understood that consistent effort combined with faith and patience produces power and achievement. I realize that silence is a powerful tool. It conceals thought, it commands respect, it creates leverage. I have practiced restraint. I have listened more than I spoke. I have allowed silence to generate influence. I have observed that the one who speaks less controls more. I have mastered listening and the power of discretion. I observe that composure under pressure is the mark of distinction. The mind trained to remain calm acts with precision and strategy. I have cultivated calmness. I have anticipated challenges. I have rehearsed responses. I have acted decisively. I have understood that unshakable composure inspires confidence and commands respect. I discovered that mental toughness is built daily through repeated resistance. The mind grows strong by overcoming challenges. I have trained my mind. I have acted consistently. I have persisted. I have reinforced faith. I have mastered thought. I have cultivated courage. And I have become unshakable. I realize that self-reliance liberates the mind from dependence on approval. I have stopped seeking validation. I have trusted my judgment. I have acted with confidence. I have cultivated faith in myself. And I have understood that the opinion that matters most is my own. I have persisted with clarity and purpose. I discovered that mastery of thought converts desire into reality. Desire, faith, persistence, discipline, imagination, accurate thought, concentration, initiative, service, and positive mental attitude applied daily produce success. I have applied them together. I have acted consistently. I have persisted. I have reinforced faith. I have cultivated discipline. I have mastered thought. And I have achieved extraordinary results. I understood that success is the sum of small efforts repeated daily. Daily action, compounded over time, produces extraordinary achievement. I have acted daily. I have cultivated faith. I have persisted. I have maintained a positive mental attitude. I have concentrated. I have disciplined myself. I have mastered my purpose. And I have seen my vision come to life. I have observed that the mind that conceives and believes can achieve whatever I desire with sufficient faith, persistence, and definite purpose. I attain. I have conceived my purpose. I have believed. I have acted. I have persisted. I have refused to quit. I have embraced every challenge. And I have converted thought into reality. I have always known that the individual who refuses to quit, adapts, learns, and persists achieves greatness. I have cultivated persistence. I have embraced adversity. I have acted decisively. I have persisted. I have believed. And my belief has converted into reality. I have understood that the universe responds to persistent faith and purposeful action. I have realized that every principle of success must be applied in harmony. Desire, faith, persistence, discipline, imagination, accurate thought, concentration, initiative, service, and positive mental attitude, they form a cohesive system. I have applied them together. I have acted consistently. I have persisted. I have reinforced faith. I have cultivated discipline. I have mastered thought. And I have achieved extraordinary achievement. I have observed that every great fortune begins as a thought. The starting point of all achievement is desire. Faith backed by persistence converts thought into action. Action, repeated daily, produces results. The individual who applies these principles consistently accumulates power, influence, wealth, and mastery. I have applied them. I have lived them. I have persisted. I have acted. And I have achieved. I have always known that success is within the reach of every man who develops definiteness of purpose, a burning desire, faith, persistence, self-discipline, and a positive mental attitude. I have cultivated these daily. I have acted consistently. I have visualized. I have persisted. I have mastered thought. And I have converted desire into reality. I have observed the unfolding of providence in my favor. I have always understood that the accumulation of knowledge alone is not enough. Knowledge must be organized and applied with definite purpose. I have acquired knowledge from books, from mentors, from experience, and from observation. I have analyzed it. I have organized it. I have acted upon it. I have converted knowledge into power, and I have seen that applied knowledge produces results. I discovered that decision is the mastery of procrastination. Indecision is the enemy of achievement. I have trained myself to make decisions promptly. I have acted without hesitation. I have refused to waver. And I have observed that the habit of prompt and definite decision-making multiplies power and influence. I have understood that indecision breeds doubt, and doubt destroys opportunity. I realize that persistence is the sustained effort necessary to induce faith. I have acted consistently. I have persisted despite temporary defeat. I have refused to quit. I have learned from failure. I have adapted. I have refined my methods. And I have understood that persistent effort backed by faith transforms desire into reality. I have observed that persistence is the bridge between desire and achievement. I have discovered that imagination is the workshop of the mind. Ideas are the beginning points of all fortunes. I have applied imagination to create opportunity. I have visualized solutions to problems. I have reorganized old concepts into new combinations. I have acted upon them. I have observed that creative imagination converts thought into tangible results. I have understood that those who neglect imagination miss the vast potential of the mind. I understood that organized planning is the crystallization of desire into action. A plan alone is worthless without action. I have written plans. I have refined them. I have acted upon them. I have persisted. I have maintained focus. And I have observed that consistent action guided by organized planning produces results. I have learned that flexibility in plan without loss of purpose is the mark of wisdom. I realize that accurate thinking separates facts from mere opinions. I have trained myself to observe objectively, to analyze critically, to avoid assumptions, and to act upon truth. I have questioned conventions. I have tested ideas. I have acted on evidence. And I have seen the power of accurate thinking in multiplying success. I have understood that the quality of thought directly determines the quality of results. I discovered that self-discipline is essential for achievement. Without control over the mind and habits, desire and faith cannot be transformed into action. I have practiced restraint. I have trained focus. I have acted with consistency. I have avoided distraction. I have resisted temptation. I have understood that self-discipline is the bridge between thought and achievement. I have realized that enthusiasm is a contagious force. It inspires action, attracts opportunity, and multiplies results. I have cultivated enthusiasm. I have applied it to every task. I have motivated others. I have observed that enthusiasm spreads. I have seen doors open. And I have understood that passion applied consistently accelerates success beyond expectation. I discovered that failure is a stepping stone to success. I have studied men who have achieved greatness. They have failed, they have learned, they have persisted. I have done the same. I have analyzed defeat. I have extracted lessons. I have refined my approach. and I have acted again. I have understood that failure is temporary when embraced as feedback, and I have observed that success follows persistence. I have realized that fear is the greatest obstacle to achievement: fear of criticism, fear of poverty, fear of failure, fear of loss paralyzes thought. In action, I have confronted fear. I have acted in spite of it. I have cultivated courage. I have observed that action in the face of fear strengthens faith and expands opportunity. I have understood that no man can achieve greatness while dominated by fear. I discovered that a positive mental attitude attracts opportunity and repels misfortune. I have cultivated optimism. I have focused on faith, desire, and action. I have avoided negativity. I have acted decisively. I have persisted, and I have observed that the mind aligned with positivity and purpose commands results. I have understood that mental attitude shapes circumstances and molds reality. I realize that service to others multiplies influence and rewards. The individual who renders more than he expects receives more than he imagines. I have acted with integrity. I have created value. I have elevated others. I have observed that lifting others elevates oneself. And I have understood that service is the ultimate pathway to wealth and mastery. I discovered that attachment to specific outcomes produces frustration. The river flows around obstacles. It does not resist, it adapts. I have focused on action. Rather than outcome, I have acted persistently. I have detached from results. I have understood that consistent effort applied with faith produces inevitable success. I have observed the universe respond to purpose and persistence. I realize that silence is power. It conceals thought. It commands respect. It creates leverage. I have practiced restraint. I have listened more than spoken. I have allowed silence to shift influence. I have understood that speaking less while acting decisively grants authority. And I have observed that strategic silence amplifies the impact of words and deeds. I discovered that composure under pressure defines the individual of distinction. The mind trained to remain calm acts with precision. I have cultivated composure. I have anticipated challenges. I have rehearsed responses. I have acted decisively. I have observed that calmness inspires confidence and commands cooperation. I have understood that unshakable composure multiplies influence. I realize that mental toughness is built daily through repeated resistance. The mind grows strong through challenge. I have trained daily. I have acted consistently. I have persisted. I have reinforced faith. I have mastered thought. I have cultivated courage. And I have become unbreakable. I have understood that mental resilience is forged in ordinary moments of daily practice. I discovered that self-reliance liberates from dependence on approval. I have stopped seeking validation. I have trusted judgment. I have acted with confidence. I have cultivated faith in myself. And I have observed that the individual who trusts his mind and heart alone commands the greatest freedom and power. I have understood that the strongest authority comes from within. I realize that mastery of thought converts desire into reality. The principles of success, applied harmoniously, produce extraordinary results. I have applied desire, faith, persistence, discipline, imagination, accurate thought, concentration, initiative, service, and positive mental attitude daily. I have acted consistently. I have persisted. I have observed extraordinary outcomes. I have converted thought into tangible achievement. I discovered that every great achievement begins as a single thought. The starting point of all fortune is desire. I have cultivated desire. I have applied faith. I have acted daily. I have persisted. I have mastered thought. I have applied principle. And I have transformed vision into reality. I have observed that the mind that conceives and believes cannot fail. I have always known that the individual who refuses to quit, adapts, learns, and persists achieves greatness. I have cultivated persistence. I have embraced adversity. I have acted decisively. I have persisted. I have believed. And I have converted belief into reality. I have understood that persistent faith and purposeful action are unstoppable forces in life. I realize that every principle of success must be applied in harmony. I have aligned desire, faith, persistence, discipline, imagination, accurate thought, concentration, initiative, service, and positive mental attitude. I have acted consistently. I have persisted. I have reinforced faith. I have cultivated discipline. I have mastered thought. And I have achieved extraordinary achievement. I have observed that knowledge without application is powerless. I have organized and applied knowledge with definite purpose. I have acted consistently. I have persisted. I have refined methods. I have aligned effort with principle. And I have observed that applied knowledge produces wealth, mastery, and influence. I have understood that action multiplies thought and faith. I discovered that self-confidence is built through repeated action and reflection. I have trusted my judgment. I have acted decisively. I have reflected on outcomes. I have refined methods. I have persisted. And I have observed that confidence grows from consistent effort guided by principle. I have understood that true self-confidence cannot be borrowed. It is earned through persistent application. I realize that the mind that conceives and believes with definite purpose, backed by persistence, cannot fail. I have conceived, I have believed, I have acted, I have persisted, I have applied principle. I have reinforced faith, I have cultivated discipline, I have mastered thought, and I have converted desire into reality. I have observed the unfolding of opportunity and providence in my favor. I have always known that the path to success is lined with adversity. I have faced obstacles. I have confronted failure. I have embraced temporary defeat. I have acted decisively. I have persisted. I have maintained faith. And I have understood that adversity is only a stepping stone. I have observed that the individual who persists achieves extraordinary results. I discovered that the accumulation of small, consistent actions produces enormous results. I have acted daily. I have cultivated faith. I have visualized. I have persisted. I have mastered thought. I have applied principle. I have observed that compounded effort produces exponential achievement. I have understood that greatness is built from consistent, disciplined action applied over time. I realize that every principle of success is interconnected. The individual who applies desire, faith, persistence, discipline, imagination, accurate thought, concentration, initiative, service, and positive mental attitude harmoniously becomes a force of unstoppable power. I have applied them. I have acted consistently. I have persisted. I have mastered thought. And I have achieved extraordinary accomplishment. I have always known that the mind that conceives and believes with persistence and definite purpose cannot fail. I have conceived my purpose. I have believed. I have acted. I have persisted. I have applied principle. I have cultivated faith. I have mastered thought. And I have converted desire into reality. I have observed the unfolding of destiny in my favor. And I have understood that no external circumstance can deter the determined mind.